Greetings, humans. It's me, Bob Harris, senior editor of FootballDiehards.com. Time for the Saturday injury review, preview, update, overview. The thing we do to get you ready for all Sundays and Mondays injuries. I know I've done an earlier one. There were 3 Saturday games. I hope you fared well there. There was a Friday game. I hope you didn't get Camara'd. Lots of articles up on the website. As always, things are going to change heading into Sunday's game. So if you come here, check out this video. It'll kind of help you set the table, know what situations you need to have on your radar, and you can follow up on them, whether you do that in the late breaking update section, where there'll be a constant flow of information, or you go to the staff, the FSP staff rankings. The staff cheat sheet will have links to each player. You can look at the individual players on your team and find out all the latest information on them. If there is any, if there's not, they're probably good to go, right? So we'll start out with the big news on Saturday. The Cleveland Browns had 4 players deemed high-risk close contacts to a positive tested teammate. I think it was a linebacker. But the players of interest are, big deal, all 4 of their top wide receivers. They'll be without Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Kadarius Hodge, all out for this game on reserve COVID-19 list. Marvin Hall was the remaining receiver on the regular roster, right? They picked him up. Detroit waived him on December 5th. He's been with the Browns. I think they picked him up the next day or so. He's been with them and practicing since. They also promoted Derek Willis and Jamarcus Bradley from their practice squad. So they'll have 3 wide receivers on the roster. They also have 4 tight ends that are all capable enough, right? You've got Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, the rookie, and Steven Carlson. So, and it's a good matchup for them as well against the Jets. The Jets are not a good defense. The Jets are not good against quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield's been on a 4-game tear, though. You have to wonder if it continues. They can also lean heavily on the rushing attack, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So, might be needing to dial back your expectations a little bit for Baker Mayfield is what I'm saying. And, you know, could he catch lightning in a bottle? Sure. It's just, man, down 4 weapons. Remember, we've seen this before. The league has vowed to play through these things and base it all on the medical issues and not the competitive issues. We saw the Denver Broncos play without a quarterback. Now we're going to see the Cleveland Browns play without their top 4 wide receivers. And I think they're in better shape than Denver was, actually. So maybe it won't be as horrible as we think. But not good news. On the other side of the ball, Jeff Smith, questionable, the wide receiver. Ryan Griffin, the tight end, he's out. He's on the COVID list, so he will not play this week. And LaMichael Pirine has been activated. He was on IR. He's activated. He will be available. Not clear what kind of role he will play in this one, his first week back, although Adam Gase has kind of suggested he'll be the guy that cuts into Frank Gore's workload, if anyone will. I don't know if anyone will. Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Atlanta Falcons. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire, no surprise there. He is likely to miss next week as well. They hope to have him back for the playoffs. Ankle and hip injuries that he suffered last week. Le'Veon Bell takes over as the lead back there. Darrell Thompson, Darrell Williams, both available behind him. I think they signed Elijah McGuire too, but Le'Veon Bell is going to be the primary guy, and they think he can handle the job. Tyreek Hill listed as questionable for this game. All indications are he will play and play as usual. If the Chiefs are maybe scoreboard watching, and I think the Pittsburgh game gets out of hand, or Pittsburgh's getting blown out or something, maybe they blow them, but that seems like a stretch. A bit of a reach there, so I'll not stress the issue. Hill, questionable, expected to play. On the other side of the ball, no Julio Jones again this week, ruled out with the hamstring injury, so no real surprise there. Brandon Powell, wide receiver, listed as questionable with a foot issue. Had 4 targets last week with Jones out. They have other options there. Remember, Ito Smith is taking over as the lead back, according to Raheem Mostert. Todd Gurley and Brian Hill will contribute, but it's kind of been heading that way anyway, so just something to keep in mind there. And by the way, without Robinson and Powell, I mean, it's Russell Gage, it's Blake Christensen. You know, I don't know if you want to go Laquan Treadwell deep. It's Calvin Ridley first, of course. So there we have that. So the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Chicago Bears. Mike Glennon won the quarterback competition that was held this week between he and Gardner Minshew. I feel like the coaching staff wanted to have a player who stayed in the pocket and made all his reads. Baker Mayfield freestyled a little bit too much for their liking. And so Mike Glennon will get the start revenge game against one of his former teams, the Chicago Bears. And he'll do it without Colin Johnson, the rookie wide receiver out with a hamstring injury. James Robinson listed as questionable with an ankle injury. He did not practice all week. The reporting from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network today is that he will not play tomorrow. So have your plans in place. Dario Ogunbowale and Divine Ozigbo are the players behind him. So expect Robinson to miss out. And be a tough one, right? On the other side of the ball, another revenge game. Allen Robinson going against his former team, the Jaguars. He's questionable with a hamstring issue. Was able to work on a limited basis on Friday, so my guess is he's trending in the right direction. You'll want to watch that in the 90 minutes leading up to kickoff. Check the main page of the site. Did I mention that? You'll find all kinds of good information there, including all the game time inactives in each 90-minute window prior to kickoff. So check that. Cordero Patterson also questionable there with a knee injury. His outlook's uncertain. I think he came back and finished last week's game, but we'll see if he can handle this one. New York Giants at the Baltimore Ravens. It looks like we'll have Daniel Jones back in the mix. All indications are the reporting today from NFL Network is that he will play in this game. And that was the reporting. ESPN's Jordan Renan has been reporting all week that he's back and looked mobile in practices, etc. So Colt McCoy will be standing by, but looks like Daniel Jones back in against the Ravens. Golden Tate will not play. He's been ruled out with a calf injury. And Devonta Freeman designated to return from IR, not activated, so he will not return this week. So still, you're looking at the Wayne Gallman, Alfred Morris duo, right? And Deion Lewis in the mix as well there, I suppose. On the other side of the ball, Marquise Brown and Des Bryant both listed as questionable. Marquise Brown, it's a knee, work limited basis last 2 days of the week. My guess is he'll go. But that's when you'll need to watch. Des Bryant threw up the X last week. He'll need to be on the field to do it this week. It seems much less certain to me that he'll be ready to go. Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans. Great matchup. Don't know who the hell their quarterback's going to be right now. Brandon Allen's practiced fully, and they've yet to commit to him as starter. Of course, Ryan Finley took over for him last week, or filled in for him last week. Has the knee and ankle injuries for Allen. Finley led the team to a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a big deal. Maybe that's why it's taking so long. So that'll be something worth watching. I don't know anyone starting the Cincinnati quarterback, even in a great matchup, but it's something to watch for. Also in that game, Tyler Boyd ruled out with a concussion. So whoever's at quarterback will be minus his top receiving weapon. The other side of the ball, Duke Johnson ruled out again this week. We saw what that did for David Johnson last week. 11 targets, 11 catches, 106 yards receiving. Maybe he can do that again. It's not a horrible matchup for him either. So there we have it. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, James Conner off the injury report, has a quad injury, expected to handle the bulk of the workload. Benny Snell's been pretty effective in relief of him in recent weeks. It's not clear how much Snell will get to do. That'll probably depend on how Conner does in the game, right? Their passing attacks struggled a bit, so I think they'd like to establish run in this game. It's the Colts. It's a tough matchup. Don't know what my expectations are here. Anthony McFarland Jr., the rookie running back, is listed as questionable with a illness. And Chris Boswell, the kicker, is questionable with a groin injury. So I haven't seen them add a kicker, so that's maybe an indication that he'll be good to go. On the other side of the ball, Marcus Johnson, the wide receiver, is ruled out with a quadriceps injury. They're down 2 offensive tackles. Anthony Costanza ruled out on Saturday, so they'll lack a little depth there, but still wouldn't keep me from playing guys like Jonathan Taylor. That's the early afternoon window. The late afternoon window, we'll start out with the Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott listed as questionable. All indications are he will play. He's practiced on a limited basis this week. Says he feels better than he has in the last 3 weeks after taking last week off. Of course, Tony Pollard looked really good in his absence, and we'll probably continue to see reps. So it's fair to wonder how much, if he won't see more after that workload. Elliott still views himself as the number one guy. I think the Cowboys still do, but clearly Pollard's capable. Blake Bell, the tight ends list, is questionable with an illness there as well. On the other side of the ball, Deshaun Jackson activated off IR. He will return this week. Jalen Hurts continue as a starter. It's a great matchup for all the Eagles. We'll see what Jackson can do in his first game back. Probably run down the field once or twice, I'm guessing. That might be all it takes to rack up some numbers in this one. Maybe better for Hurts than it is for Jackson, or for fantasy managers with Hurts than it is for those who probably won't be playing Jackson. Cam Akers for the Los Angeles Rams at Seattle, ruled out with the ankle injuries, likely going to miss the next game. It's a high sprain, so Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown are next men up there. On the Seattle side of the ball, everyone's healthy and good to go. Everyone lost their injury designations late in the week. Chris Carson, good to go. Carlos Hyde, DK Metcalf. Tough matchup with Jalen Ramsey. It's this tough matchup for the Seattle in general. You have to wonder how they'll fare with the Rams coming off a loss to the Jets. They might be angry. In fact, if you saw Aaron Donald walking off the field last week, he was already angry. The Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. Philip Lindsay will not play in this game. He's ruled out and was placed on IR on Saturday, so he's done for the season. Royce Freeman The other running back at the top of the rotation there, the bottom of the three-man rotation, is questionable with a hip injury. Melvin Gordon, revenge game. Against the Chargers, defense is not good at stopping the run. Have an article up on that in the late-breaking updates on most all these situations. So go look, people. Investigate further if these are your players. But it's a clear path to workload for Melvin Gordon in this one. On the other side of the ball, Keenan Allen, questionable again, limited in practice all week, a game-time decision. Anthony Lynn started calling that early in the week on Wednesday, said he would be a game-time decision. We saw what happened last week, right? He yelled to the sideline reporters, "Don't sit me," speaking to us, the fantasy managers. And then he played 36% of the snaps, used situationally, 1 catch, 17 yards, wasn't great. So that's one to watch. I'll be reporting on that. Also, if you happen to have the SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, I'll be on there doing the pregame show. If we have additional information on any of these players, I'll have it there, as well as in the late-breaking update section of the site. You should check that for late-breaking news, people. It's got it all the time. Hunter Henry will not play in this game. Donald Parham will be the tight end of record here. Henry placed on the reserve COVID-19 list this week, so he is out. The Carolina Panthers against the Washington football team in Washington. Alex Smith, questionable. Antonio Gibson, questionable. Terry McLaurin, doubtful. Expect McLaurin not to play. The Redskins, there I did it. The football team elevated Antonio Golden from the IR today, released on Trell Inman, so expect him to at least play a role. He's been practicing a couple weeks, so not coming in cold. Gibson, seems like it's about 50-50, and it sounds like the same for Alex Smith. Dwayne Haskins, after some early week controversy, is okay to start if Smith doesn't. We'll see how it plays out. Christian McCaffrey on the other side of the ball, doubtful again, all but officially ruled out of this one, so don't expect him back. Sunday night game, Titans at the Packers. Everyone's off the Titans injury report. A.J. Brown missed his usual day of practice this week, then came back Friday, worked fully. Everyone else working fully as well. Khalif Raymond off the COVID-19 list, so he will be available as well. On the other side of the ball, Jamal Williams listed as doubtful with a quadriceps injury, so maybe a clearer path to workload for one Aaron Jones. I think he took like 90-some% of the snaps after Williams was hurt last week. A.J. Dillon in the mix there, but I think he only had about 5 snaps, so Aaron Jones in a good spot. Play him if you got him. Jay Sternberger ruled out with a concussion. And, of course, Derrick Henry's in a good spot, too. The Packers' defense not great at stopping running backs. Ryan Tannehill playing great. Should be a good offensive exhibition on Sunday Night Football. That's what we're all hoping for, which, of course, means almost certainly there won't be as many points scored as we'd like. Monday night's game, the Bills at the Patriots. Damian Harris listed as questionable. Nick Folk listed as questionable. Robert Aguayo was added to the practice squad. Maybe an indication that Folk's back is worse than it has been. That's something to watch. You can always avoid kickers, so if you want to avoid the situation. But Harris missed last week's game. Seemed like he's working on a limited basis this week. We'll see if he can get back into action. J.J. Taylor, the running back, also questionable. Julian Edelman, not activated yet, but still could be. And so that's something that I think they have until Monday afternoon to do him. So, and the same goes for John Brown on the other side of the ball. He's still on IR, but could be activated. The good news for the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs had the foot injury last week. Practiced fully all week, off the injury report. Josh Allen, too, knee and ankle issues. He's been working through those as well. And so there you have it. I think Robert Gilliam, the tight end, is the only guy ruled out for this one, and he's kind of down the depth chart. So there you have it. Again, check the main page of the site. Late breaking updates section. Check the FSP staff rankings, the cheat sheet. For all the latest on your specific players, you can go down and there's a link to the latest information for each one available there to you. So be ready for that. Set a great lineup. If you got Kamara, swing for the fences with your picks, and listen to me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Check the website tomorrow. We'll have the pregame video with Jason Brady and Emil Kadlick in a couple hours before kickoff. Some other video content available there as well on the replay form. So check it all out. Lots of columns too. Myself, Kyle Dvorak, Justin Lanero, John Lobb, Evan Tarciano, Matthew Sharon. Tons of good stuff there, Brad Cruz. So check it out. Dial it up. Good luck. And listen to me on the SiriusXM pregame show with Jeff Mans if you get a chance, 11 to 1. See you next week, and good luck. And we will be back next week. I know a lot of you aren't playing, but if you're into DFS or whatever, we'll have our usual content. So stick around. And we'll go through the playoffs too. We'll have good stuff for you all. Appreciate you. Good luck.